One second, guys. I'm just getting this YouTube stream set up really quickly. All right, what's up, guys? We're gonna give everybody a few minutes to join in here. So, give everybody a few minutes to come in and give everybody an opportunity to get in here and learn some stuff today. All right, a few more minutes here. What's up, everybody watching on YouTube? Hope you guys are doing all right. So today's topic that we're actually going to be going over is on support and resistance. Your basics of charting and the stock market, going over supply and demand zones, support and resistance, and drawing basic trend lines and whatnot. So if you guys are in here, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to educate yourself and invest in yourself with your time. So without further ado, we'll kind of get into it. Before we actually start, though, if you guys have any questions throughout the whole entire live stream, feel free to unmute in Discord or talk in the Discord market talk chat or in general chat or talk in the YouTube comment section because, we're all here to learn, kind of help each other out. And feel free to, talk during the thing. You're not interrupting me, I promise. I encourage questions. I encourage you guys to ask questions. So, anyways, the first thing we're going to go over is support and resistances, when to use them, how to use them, and how to see if they're working, right? So, the general rule whenever looking at support and resistance is 3 touches indicates it's a good signal. So, let's just go to SPY and let's say we go to the hourly chart. Um, let's go to SPX. I don't have SPX charted. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. So we're here and we're looking for pretty much connections, right? It's like we're connecting the dots. So I see when we're off the bat here, see this low? It touches here, 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 here. It touches it a lot and it rejects a lot. So I'd say that's a pretty solid support on the hourly channel. And what you could do is, once it comes up to touch this line, you could play the opposite direction. So, and of course, it's not going to work every time. Like here, it didn't work. But let's say we had the market come up right here. Where's the tool to do that? Path. So like, let's say we had this, this, this. And let's say we touched this right here. We would look for a rejection. So we'd play puts or shorts or whatever you want to play back down. So that's just an example of how you can use a support and resistance line to kind of give yourself an idea of where the market's moving. And that's kind of a general way to use it, a general way to actually, how to actually draw one. Super easy. Like I said, the general rule of thumb is 3 touches and it's a resistance or support line. So while we're here, let's look at some intraday type stuff and I can take that off the chart. Let me try to find one really quick for us. Here's a great one. So this is actually a height of day support. And as you can see, it could turn into a support right here. So you would go support here, hit here, 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 bounced, and then we broke below it. So you could play a short here, and of course you'd be profitable. And then, as you can see, price kind of stayed around it here and then here as well. So it's really a point of interest more than a really entry line. Um, what's up, Jeff? Good to see you here. So support and resistance lines are more so points of interest and points to kind of take note of. They're not what you should base all your entries off of, but they're definitely spots that you could look at and say, okay, we're approaching a support or resistance area. Let's see what happens here. It's all about being aware that something can happen around these areas. So that's a quick crash course on support and resistance. If you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute real quick and ask them, or on YouTube, feel free to comment if you guys have any questions about supports or resistances. Anybody in Discord have any questions about support and resistance? We good? Okay. So next thing we're going to go over is your basic trend lines and whatnot. So trend lines are really fun. Trend lines are good if you like to play breakouts, or if you like to, for example, just identify trend in markets. So let's go down to the 1 minute really quickly. And we actually had some really good trend lines today. I always say stock trading is kind of like connecting the dots, right? Um, Dylan, DM me in Discord and I'll shoot you an invite. Yeah, feel free to DM me. I say trading is like connecting the dots. So what I mean by that is if you see dots that need connecting, try connecting them. If they make a line, that's probably a trend. So for example, here we have this line connects to this line like that, right? Jimmy John. Okay, one sec. Let me invite you real quick, Dylan. There we go. Cool. You should be able to join. If not, I apologize. It's not my server, but that's where I am right now. One second, Dylan. I'm trying to get you in here. All right, sorry for the delay there, guys. Okay, cool. So, like I was saying, trading is a lot like connecting the dots. Let me do this so the volume's not crazy. Let me just hide volume for now. So you connect this dot to this dot, and then here, see how they touch again here? And this is where you can play a breakout. So, of course, you broke down out of price here, retested, and you go short here. And then, we're on a smaller time frame here, but if we zoom out, you can probably see it a lot better. It kind of broke out like that. This is really your breakout here on the 5 minute. But regardless, you kind of get the point where you're breaking out and then you continue down. So you break these trend lines. The screen is blurry. Is the screen blurry for anybody else? Let me check. Michael, click the little gearbox on YouTube and feel free to adjust your quality. It should help that a little bit. It's all good on my end. I'm looking at it on my other screen. So, like I was saying, again, this is just a way to identify trend. It's a way to identify moves in the market. Another one here would be connect this dot to this dot to this dot, and then you extend it, and boom, so we have a touch here, 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 and then we break out here. And of course, you get a very small move to the upside, but it's a move nonetheless. It's signaling a trend change, basically. And then if you really bring this out, it was kind of respected later. See? So it broke out, we retested that again, and went back down here. So trend lines are very, very, very powerful in the way you trade. Personally, I trade a lot of futures. So let's go to the NQ micros. For example, I traded this today, right here. I traded this breakout right here, like this. There we go. So see it touched here, here, and here. We broke down and I played short all the way down. It was like 100 points. Let me check. 65.5. Oh no, 262 ticks. That's what it was. 262 ticks. Right, which is a huge move, right? But I played a breakout. All I did was I played these dots that connected and I entered down here. So like I said, it's all about connecting the dots when you're drawing trend lines. So I think drawing the trend lines are kind of the easier part. It's more about understanding when you should actually enter in the trend lines. So that's a whole different topic, but I'll kind of touch on it quickly here. Um, as you can see, the market's been very bearish, and our macro, just being a macro trader, you can look at the market and say, okay, we're in a large downtrend on higher time frames. So if you see that you're in a large downtrend on higher time frames, well, you would never really want to play a breakout, right? You'd always want to play a break down. So for example, if this were to break up out of this right here, I would not play this because we're in a downtrend in the bigger picture. However, since we did break down, that's why I played this. And I guess you can say that's a bias, or you can say it's not a bias, but in my opinion, it's just a part of it's just a confirmation you have to have, in my opinion, to know the longer trend, and not just the shorter trend. Another potential trend line could have been here-ish, I guess. Not really. No. But I hope that makes sense to you guys. Do you guys have any questions about drawing trend lines before we hop into some more I guess more complicated things? Any questions in Discord or at YouTube? We good? Cool. All right, awesome. So more complicated things. Let's look into flagging. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. We should see some flags here. That was not really a flag, I wouldn't say. So where's the easy one to see? Perfect flag right here on the 15-minute. So see how we had this big spike here? This is called a flag. It looks like a flagpole. So you would say this is a pole of your flag. So we're looking at this trend right here. I think we can actually draw a vertical line on TradingView. Yeah, we can. So here's your vertical line. I'll take that off of that. Here's your vertical line. And then you're going to grab a trend line. Take the top of your flag down. This is your trend. And then right here where your gap is your flagpole. So you would put your flag here. Let's make that prettier actually. Let's do a horizontal ray right here. Like that. So does that make sense to you guys? How it's literally just a flag? I mean, it looks just like a flag. Like this. There we go. So it's a flag here, and this is called a bull flag because it's a big green candle that we're going off of. But it's also called a pennant, right? This looks like a pennant trend. And what you do is pretty much you play the break down or break out, whichever way it goes. And this one broke it down, so you'd go short here, and as you can see, it eventually worked its way out. But that's just one of the trends you can expect to see. These little pennants are very powerful, just like all the other trend lines, and in a sense that it can kind of help you determine the market direction. So for example, if you played this, you got a 417 point move, which is 104 ticks, which is actually nuts. Not gonna lie. Here's a trend it looks like I drew. When is this? See, I do a lot of trend lines. Yeah, so here's a trend. So we were in an uptrend and then we broke out of it here, retested, and I played long right here. And as you can see, it actually played perfectly with our pennant because this line stayed intact in play. This line right here. I can't get it to the right spot for some reason. There we go. And the reason the bottom is right here is because of these candle touches. Anyways, enough of that. That's kind of your gist of um, trend lines, drawing trend lines, and support and resistance lines. Now we're going to kind of get into some pretty complex stuff, supply and demand zones mainly. And it's really not that hard to understand if you just kind of open your mind to it. It's people are kind of intimidated by it sometimes. I know I was whenever I first started reading about supply and demand zones, but they're really not that hard to draw and hard to identify. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the 15-minute chart and we're going to turn Heikin-Ashi candles. This helps us see trend changes super, super easily. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find a bottom, which this is a beautiful bottom right here. So we're going to go here. We're going to get a box. So get this box. Where's the box tool? Here we go, rectangle tool. We're going to go from the bottom of this red candle to the top of this green candle. And we're going to drag it out. And then we're going to test it and see how it's performed. And if this isn't the most perfect thing you've ever seen, look at that. It literally worked out today. As you can see, we came up here, we tested the top of this, and we rejected. So if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I forget the actual names of these zones. I don't know if it's a supply zone or a demand zone. All I know is you would play the short side of this. You wouldn't play the long side, typically. So what I actually do is I come over here. I type in short zone. Like that. I'll put it in there. So we just drew a good supply and demand zone here. And as you can see, it actually worked out today, which is really funny because I didn't plan any of that. But basically you'd play the short at a breakout and your stop loss would be the top of the zone right here. And so if you entered short here, you're risking a total of 65 points, which is 50 262 times 0.5. It's like you're risking $130 here on a future, which of course not all of you trade futures. But I mean, but your reward was up to God, let's see how much this went to if you held it. All the way down 924 ticks. So $450, which is insane. Good risk reward there. But needless to say, you can also use it as your regular support and resistance. See, it was a dinged off of this zone here. Same thing here, dinged off the bottom of the zone. Here we smashed right through it on both ends. Here we rejected it. Very hard, actually. And then here we went through it, retested, and kept going up. So this is a supply and demand zone. Like I said, they're very, very powerful if drawn correctly. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go double check and make sure these are drawn correctly really quick. And it looks like we might have a better zone here, a little bit of a larger zone, but more of a confirmation zone. So we're going to actually draw this bottom here to this top here. And we're going to see how much better that looks. So we have this, that's good, that's good, that's good. What we're looking for is the breakouts. We're going to see if the breakouts were actually good. Breakouts. Good. I'd say that's good. That's good. We broke up out of here. I'd say that's a good move. That's a good move. That's a good move. It respected it. That's a great move out of here. That ended up being a good move. Good bounce. And then great move and a retest. So you can go on regular candles as well to kind of back test it and see how they operated. But needless to say, these zones are killer, especially, you know, if you're trading very often out of these zones. These zones are typically used because they're a fairly high success rate. They're very diverse in the way you can trade within the zone, or you can trade bounces off the zone, or you can trade breakouts through the zone. There's lots of different ways to play these areas. And that's why people love to use them because you can play, you can play this bounce around right here. So you could go short once we break into it. Then you could go long at the bottom of the zone, short here, and long on the breakout. So you can do a lot of different things with these areas, which again makes them very, very unique. It makes them very very diverse and versatile to a point where they're really enticing to a bunch of traders to use. And the more people that use it, the more people that will make the markets move with it. So we talked about how to draw a zone, like again, pretty much connecting the dots, pretty simple. Now let's talk about what the zone actually is. So I'm assuming all of us here are retail traders. I don't think any of us own investment banks. If you do, please prove me wrong, and I will gladly say I'm sorry. But since we're all retail traders, we don't have the bankroll that a large investment bank might have. So what these zones are essentially liquidation and pump levels. So a liquidation level meaning once price hits this zone, like let's say we're breaking up here. I don't have a good example. So let's say it says a buy zone, right? Price is going to hit somewhere in this zone and large firms are going to start buying. So they're going to buy here and break out, and it's going to cause a whole pump in the market. Same thing here, kind of, but not as intense. And the longer these zones go, the less buy orders are going to be sitting right here. So again, buy order here, great pump. Buy order here, great pump. Then as you can see, there were no buy orders sitting here. So we actually ended up liquidating here and going further down. So what these zones are, they're regions where bigger banks and people with larger amounts of money will actually have orders set to move the market. And it's a lot of where your market makers and stuff like that comes through and comes into play, because if you follow the money, that's where you're going to make money. So that's kind of a 101 on supply and demand zones. I feel like I've been talking forever with no one else talking. So I'm going to take a break here for a second. And if you guys have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Any questions, it can be on this topic, off this topic, anything. I'd love to answer some questions, guys. I see Dylan typing in chat. Let's see what Dylan's got to type. I'm listening, but I prefer to firstly learn before speaking. Yeah, man, of course. I mean, we're all just kind of hanging out here. There's a lot to learn in the markets. This is literally the shortest class ever. I don't know. It's a very it's a complex thing, I guess. It's a complex thing to learn. Trading is, but I don't know. I always learned by speaking to people, and I learned by talking to people and talking with people and asking questions. And that's why I'm so avid on asking questions. It's not because I just don't want to talk. It's because I literally want you guys to ask questions, because that's how I learned. I learned by talking to other professionals and talking to people that knew more than me. So I encourage you guys to ask questions, because I was in the same spot you guys were in at one point. Yeah, Goba ask, how are we going to open a position? No, actually the markets are closed. The futures market's even closed right now. We open in 35 minutes. I might stay on here for that, but I doubt it. Volume's always so low in after hour session. But I don't know, I might I don't know. Would you guys like to see live futures trading? Is that something you guys would like to see? Drop it in the chat if you would. Michael Esposito, unsure how to identify the zones. Yeah, sure. Okay, I see Marco had the exact same question. So again, we're gonna go out to a larger time frame. I prefer the 15-minute time frame. So the 15, we're gonna go to Heikin-Ashi candles so we can see trend changes very easily. And then right here, we just got this zone. So you go to your box tool, and like I said, you would just click here at the bottom of this, and then see this move right here. This is your zone because it's the top before the next downtrend. So you would go here to here and then drag it out, and that's your zone. You know, it's that simple. You go from your bottom to your top, just like this. Does that make sense, Michael and Marco? Got a chart, Apple, or Spy? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Let's go. Let's go chart some. Let's go chart two around Apple really quickly since we're in a little zone here in Apple. Let's go to regular trading. So Apple, we're down here. Obviously, our zone is actually rather large. Almost too large to chart, if I'm being honest with you. But I mean, it's a zone still. So I guess we'll still. I don't know. Do we want to recognize this as a zone? I think this is our zone right here. So Apple, we come back to this bottom, which I'm actually connecting with this bottom right here. See how all these are bottoms? These all connect right here. Now, I wouldn't call this one a zone because it's just a huge spike on after hours, and I don't know what happened. That's a whole weekend. I wouldn't even call that a zone. But this one right here, I would, just because we had this downtrend reversal to the upside here. I could even call this one a zone. Let's look for that bottom. I want to look for that bottom that actually caused these zones. Give me a second. We're going to try to find the actual zone here and not just rush through this. So it's going to be in this area around here. Okay, maybe it is just it's a rather large zone. Hmm. This is difficult to see. We're going to chart this one and we're going to make sure it works. So we'll drag it out. But, all right, let's do this. We're going to go here to this top, drag it over, and we'll drag it back over here. And that looks pretty good. It's not the strongest zone, but it's a zone nevertheless. Let's see. So if you played calls out of this zone, you would go good. If you played puts down out of it, you know, it's a gap down. I don't really enter on gaps at all, but that's that. Zone out, good. Zone out, good. Even kind of a retest of the zone right here. And here we go. So we actually entered this zone today. And looking for a breakdown out of it. Kind of like I said with trend lines, I would like to use a longer indicator. So for example, the 200 EMA, which is what this line is right here. The 200 EMA would be good to kind of see your long-term trend. So I would never play calls out of this zone because we're below this line, which like I said again, it's just your 200 EMA. And if we go back here, we can probably see where we play calls. Yeah. So here we're above the 200 and we break out. So play calls here, consolidate around the zone, and then eventually went up. Where else did we break out? Here, same way, you know, perfect. Above the 200 calls. Good. Here we're below the 200 and we wouldn't play any of these calls because we're below the long-term trend. And right here, you would actually play calls. Yeah, you'd play calls here. Again, it's risky, but you'd play calls here. It would work out. And now we're looking for puts in this area because we're below the 200 and like you see, it worked out. But I mean, that just kind of goes with trading in general. No matter what you're looking at, you're always looking for the long-term trend as well. You can't just look at the short term to determine your entries and exits. That's what I've been doing a lot more often is using long term indicators like the 200 EMA to determine to enter or not enter trades. I think it's really helped me as far as my own risk management and entering better trades. So I'll take that off of there, just showing you the trend. But yeah, that's a good zone on Apple if you play the trend correctly, Jimmy Johns. So if you want to actually get the numbers really quickly, your zone would be from 140.34 to 138.23. And you'd be looking to play puts below 138.23. So I mean, if that happens, then there you go. It doesn't matter either way. Because a breakout's gonna be a breakout, whether you're playing Heiken-Ashi or regular candles. Whenever it comes to just, breaking out of trends. So either one, whatever you're more comfortable with, they're gonna react the same whenever it comes to this type of trading. Um, Now whenever you drop to lower time frames, like from the 15 where you chart it, I would drop down to the 3 or the 5. I wouldn't go to the 1 because you're gonna get faked out all on the 1. But I think the 3 is a good balance between entries and like catching them and not and catching entries at a good price, and also between accuracy. I've always said 3 is a good middle ground between that. So I'd stick to 3 or 5. As you can see, the 5 is just as well suited for it. But yeah. It should be. I actually don't trade crypto very often. Let's go to ETH and let's just check. I'm out of curiosity. So I know out of crypto, are you typically trading on the 15-minute? Is that like your lower time frame, so to speak? Yeah, so let's say we'll go on the hour to draw a supply and demand zone. And let's go to Heiken-Ashi. Okay, looks like here's one here. This is a zone, so we'll draw this zone really quickly right here. So top to bottom, perfect. And we'll back test it here in a moment. Cool. And now let's turn on that trend so we can see the actual trend of the market. So here you'd play the downside and you get a nice move on leverage, I'm sure, of 4.77%. I think it's a good move on crypto. I'm not entirely sure. Long here, same way, above the trend. It respects it here. Short here, this would be a pretty bad fake out where your stop loss would be right here. So you would be out 5.5% there. But you did break out, but you would not enter this long because your trend is not along here. Um, Actually, we're on the wrong time frame. Let's go to 15. Duh. We'll just play recent. So here you're above your 200 EMA, so you'd play this long. You would play this long. You would play none of these actually. You would not play this long out of this breakout because you're below your trend. But to answer your question, yeah, it looks like it works the same on crypto. This one would be a good short here. It actually went down a lot more. You could play it twice. Let's see what else. Again, here's that fake out. Um, yeah, pretty interesting. I'd say that's a good trade. You're trading for a, what was it, the 5% one? About 5%. But yeah, it looks like it works on crypto just fine, Abyss. You mean like Heikanashi versus regular? Yeah, you can use either one. So I can go to regular candles and it'd be the exact same. Yep, works just as good. Any other questions, guys? What's up, Wesley? What does everybody trade here? Do you guys trade crypto, forex, futures, stocks, stock options, day trading? What do you guys do? I know Jimmy Johns, you trade options. Anybody here trade forex? Yeah, like USD to euro, stuff like that. Yeah, I've never really gotten into it. I do a lot more. I've started doing future trading. I like futures a lot. Um, Never really did crypto either. Did a little bit, but not very much. But yeah, I'm into more options and futures. But forex is interesting. It's just totally different. Let's see. Do you guys have any off-topic questions? Anything at all? Yeah, the trend. Yeah, well, what about it? You just want to know what the lines are? Yeah, so this line you see right here is actually just the 200 EMA. I pulled up this indicator because this is the indicator I just made. I've been in development of. Um, but no, this line right here is the 200 EMA, so exponential moving average. And that's how I would identify your long-term trend is with the 200 EMA. Or you could also use VWAP, which is the purple line, which in this indicator, VWAP is actually your stop loss line. So that's that. But this one that shows you where to go long and short is actually my custom indicator. And if you're interested in that, shoot me a message. I can send you a link to it. It's not for sale yet, but we're in beta testing. So, yep. Yep. Let's see. So for example, this would be a loss here of 15 ticks, not very much. And then here's a win of 18 ticks. Here's a win of however much that is. Not a whole lot, but I mean, 15 ticks. Same here, about 10 ticks. But yeah, it's a pretty cool indicator. I'm pretty proud of it. Works pretty good. Um, let's see how we performed today. Looks like the S&P outperformed the Nasdaq today by a pretty decent margin. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see. That's all I really have for you guys, to be honest with you. If you guys have any more questions, by all means, shoot me a message. Just a quick plug, really quickly. If you visit the link in my bio, there is custom algorithms that I sell. This one will be up for sale pretty soon in the next couple weeks. It's in beta testing. But I sell other algorithms such as effortless scalping, which is this indicator that you see on screen. If you go to the 5 minute, it'll tell you when to go long and short. Maybe. I have them hidden, don't I? Yep. Here we go. There we go. It tells you when to go long and short. It's like, here you go short with your take profits and whatnot. That's a big fake out. Um, short there, hit your take profit, then long here. But I do sell indicators. This is one of them. Shows your breakout zones, stuff of that nature. And the supply and demand zones that we just talked about, it actually has a custom indicator in there for that. So if you can see, these little boxes are the supply and demand zones we just talked about. This algorithm automatically draws them for you with little boxes. So here we broke out of it, retested it, went back down. Perfectly drawn by the indicator. Here was a fake out. Here's your stop loss, very small loss. Same thing here. And then here, another breakdown, retest, breakdown, breakdown, breakdown. So it's a really cool indicator. I'd recommend you guys check it out, of course, because I made it. I'm going to say that. This is Effortless Scalping. The link's in my bio. I also have another one called Effortless Indicator that you see on the screen right now. It doesn't signal quite as often, but it does signal. And whenever it does signal, it's very, very accurate. So we caught the movie yesterday with a huge, huge win here. Same thing here. Right, with FOMC. See, I had the same thing on the trend one right here. I actually caught it a little bit earlier, and I played this one on Apple. I played Apple puts off that, made like 100% in like 20 minutes right before close. I usually don't play economic news, but I was just feeling risky yesterday, I guess. But yeah, it did signal. Um Anyways, guys, this one is called Effortless V 4.0. It's just called the standard effortless algorithm. Again, link in bio. I have videos that show these and show how to use them. If you use the code LIVE, that's LIVE, you get 40% off your order. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It works pretty well. You're probably gonna make your money back within a trade or two. I know Jimmy Johns uses it, and I think he enjoys it pretty extensively. But yeah, anything else, guys? If you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free to DM me, message me. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I'm dropping my Discord name in the description or in the comment section of the video, so you guys can add me if you guys have any questions. And same with you guys on the Discord. Sorry, I had a mind blank. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great evening. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.